Hej alle sammen og velkommen til den her video, hvor jeg vil vise jer lidt af mit nye PD3 kursus. Jeg håber I godt kan lide videoen, og husk at den her video er en del af et bredere PD3 kursus, som I kan finde linket til i beskrivelsen. Husk at like og subscribe, det hjælper min kanal rigtig meget, og tusind tak for at se med. Og selvfølgelig, have en glædelig jul og et rigtig godt nytår. Vi ses i det nye år.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the PD3 course. So where we left off last time was we were talking about some of the topics that often can come up. And this is a good idea to kind of, let's say, anticipate a little bit in the tests. And I actually put together here a list for you guys of previous topics from previous exams. And this is from 11 to 17, but really the topics have not changed that much. So if we go from 17 and up, you can see the last one here is deleøkonomi. So this is shared economy. And this is kind of a, let's say, a classic example of this economic focus that can be a part of PD3, being able to talk about topics that are a little more advanced. For talking about economy, I will probably, hopefully do a video on that in the future, but this is something that could come up, but just know that usually it's not expected of you that it needs to be too complicated. Just remember words like dele, share, and usually things like, a nice word could be fælles konto, which could be a common account that you and your partner has. I would write it like this: fælles konto. And then, yeah, as I said, remembering dele. So this is for the 2017 winter one. For the one above that, arbejde og stress. That is also, the middle one. This is about hverdag, meaning the everyday. And this is also something that has come up quite a lot. If you're talking about this, you can say something like lange arbejdsdage. And I think this will kind of be a little easier to find the vocabulary for you guys in this topic. So let's go above. So one in 2016 winter, we could have something like børn og tablets. Børn og tablets, so this one right here. This will be quite common, talking about the phone and talking about kids. And here the most important phrase is mobilfri skole. So I would also suggest writing this one down. This might be very useful for you. The one above, let's say a topic here, flere syge behandles i eget hjem. This last one here. Here you can talk about the difference between offentlig versus privat. Now there's some different topics where you have one on the one hand and another on the other hand. It's the general theme of PD3. If you've watched this course so far, you know that is one thing that we really emphasize. And one of the things we emphasize is offentlig versus privat. And this is just public versus private. So we can, for example, talk about offentlig versus privat hospital. And while we're on the subject of these pairs, I think one pair that is very important to understand and is not stated enough in preparational courses for PD3 is this one. Faglig versus social. So faglig is anything to do with school or work, whereas social is all about what we do outside of those two things, school or work. And this is just such an important division in Danish culture. And this is kind of maybe the reason we have a nice work-life balance here. Let's just use a couple examples so you understand what I'm talking about. Er det vigtigst, at du har det godt fagligt eller socialt på arbejde? So let's imagine a question like this, right? And this will be very confusing to you if you don't know this pair. Is it most important that you have it good? And then fagligt, I don't know if you looked it up in Google Translate, if it might tell you something like work-like or socially. It will probably tell you something more confusing, because work-like would be quite a good translation actually here. So fagligt is anything pertaining to school or work. So anything that is not social. So that is like a dichotomy that we use in Danish. All right, so let's look at some of the other topics. Here we have dagligvarer på nettet. It is important to know that when we're talking about nettet, we're talking about internet. And actually, I do believe, no, it's with two T's. Internet, the internet, right? But more or less, like I think we've gone away from nettet. In 2015, you're talking about internet, you're talking about online is also a Danish word that you can use. So, yeah. The one above that, we have ligestilling. So this is a very important word. Ligestilling means gender equality. Okay, this is very important. Some words here, rettigheder, rights, mænd og kvinder, and so on, right? And these are just checklists. Like, would you be able to write a text about this? Can you form some sentences on this topic? So that's what you should ask yourself. And if you can't, then that's okay. Just try maybe to write an email. Try to write it to me in the comments. And if there's a topic you don't feel that comfortable with, try to write it to me, and try to write. Sorry, there's some very interesting military planes going over me right now. That's why you might have heard that sound. I think they're doing the parade today. Anyways, so just try to write it in the comments of the YouTube video, and I will answer back then, and try to use some of the correct words in this vocabulary so that you can see what they are. So please do use the comment section. I will check them. So yeah, that was ligestilling, gender equality. Up here, sundhed, obviously, sundhed, health. We'll talk a lot about that. Here, obviously, you will say something like hospitaler. Again, private or offentlige could be something you could talk about, and so on. Biblioteker, måske, maybe not so much. I mean, it can come up, but libraries, right? Biblioteker. Up here, I will say, again, sundhed. Unge og bilkørsel, I know they've had that a couple of times, young people and car driving. So, I hope that you found this video helpful, and see you for the next one.